Kalgoorlie Boulder city in Western Australia. History. Prior to the appearance of gold miners, the region had been meagerly populated by individuals from the neighbourhood Hancocks Aboriginal language bunch. The main Europeans to investigate the territory were H.M. Lefroy in 1863 and by C. Hunt in 1864, who were looking for helpful peaceful terrains. By the mid-1890s, the goldfields north of Perth were delivering low yields and the state government offered a compensation for new revelations. In 1892, Arthur Bailey found gold close to Kalgoorlie, which attracted miners to the space. In 1893, Paddy Hannon, Tom Flanagan and Daniel Shea found alluvial gold chunks close to Mount Charlotte. Like most revelations, it was unplanned. A pony lost its shoe, compelling them to camp close to where they found the gold. On the 17th of June 1893, Paddy Hannon enrolled his case at Kalgoorlie. Inside 3 days, nearly 700 men were prospecting around there, and before the finish of June the number had ascended to more than 1,000. This was the gold rush to beat all gold rushes. Known as Hannon's Find or simply Hannon's, it was the most extravagant goldfield on the planet. Hannon's Find attracted excavators to the space, and it was a South Australian organisation which found the celebrated Golden Mile close to Boulder toward the south of Kalgoorlie. By 1894, more than 100 leases had been taken out in the Kalgoorlie Boulder territory, yet the nearby quartz stores didn't deliver significant returns. In 1894, a Canadian excavator, Larry Camilleri, found the deposit matter which put the Golden Mile on the map. The deposit was made out of ironstone, with little quartz veins, greenstone, diorite and porphyry, which contained the gold. The main battery was set up on the 10th of April 1894, and 2008 tons of mineral from the Great Boulder mine yielded 15,000 ounces of gold. Kalgoorlie's first mail centre was set up in 1894. In 1895, Kalgoorlie was overviewed and declared. That year likewise saw the presence of the town's first day-by-day paper. The rail line arrived at the town in 1896. By 1897, the two towns of Kalgoorlie and Boulder were gazetted. By 1902, Kalgoorlie was a wild and blasting town with an expected 93 inns and 8 breweries serving a populace of 30,000 individuals. In 1903, the School of Mines was set up and C.Y. O'Connor's pipeline arrived at the town bringing new water from Mundaring Weir. By 1910, both Boulder and Kalgoorlie had power. There was a tram line running up Hannon Street, and in excess of 25 whorehouses were working in Hay Street. Today there are as yet numerous mines working in the goldfields locale. About portion of those are gold mines, including the gigantic super pit, and there are additionally digs for nickel, chrysoprase, copper, stone, lime, salt, sand and silver. There is no place else in Australia very like Kalgoorlie. In contrast to most gold mining towns, which keep going for as little a few years, it sits on the edge of the acclaimed Golden Mile and has an economy which has been driven by gold since 1893. The central avenue, Hannon Street, is flooded with heavenly structures, all bearing demonstration of the abundance that has been created. It is a city to be relished. An interesting articulation of the power of gold fever and the abundance that can be produced by this immensely significant metal. Current Kalgoorlie is far taken out from the town as portrayed around the finish of the 19th century. When my gathering ventured from the train at Kalgoorlie, we saw before us a dissipated cluster of wooden and excited iron houses. In the close to separate we could see the transcending poppet tops of the generally realized Great Boulder mine, and the commotion made by the rotating mallets of the always dynamic stepping apparatus pounced upon our ears as an incredible ruckus. However, past the residue and smoke of these nature-battling motors of civilization, the open desert, specked with its hindered mulga and mallee developments, gleamed once more into the skyline. Kalgoorlie is found 595 kilometers east of Perth through the Great Eastern Highway and is 360 meters above ocean level. It is acknowledged that Kalgoorlie presumably comes from a Wankathar Aboriginal word, Kalkurla, signifying plush pear, a plant normal to the space. Stone was named after the Great Boulder mine. The Kalgoorlie Boulder Visitor Centre. The reasonable beginning stage for any investigation of Kalgoorlie Boulder is the Kalgoorlie Boulder Pure Gold Visitor Centre, which is situated in the town hall working at the edge of Hannon and Wilson Streets. It has a wide scope of guides and manuals, can exhort on convenience and cafes, and is a convenient booking office for the numerous visits that are offered nearby around Kalgoorlie. Kalgoorlie Walking Tour. In the event that you are glad to pay $12 in 2014, you can buy a souvenir map and information booklet and recruit a headset which offers itemized depictions which cover the greater part of the huge structures in Hannon Street, just as the Questa Casa bordello, whorehouse. Probably the main structures, as you advance from the Visitor Information Centre up Hannon Street to the War Museum, include structures and points of interest on Hannon Street. Sculpture of Paddy Hannon. The Paddy Hannon sculpture is situated at the intersection of Wilson Street and Hannon Street, outside the Visitor Information Centre. It is an imitation of the first sculpture, which was finished in 1929 and produced using 90 bits of fastened copper. The first is housed inside the town hall. Hannon is the man credited with finding the gold deposit at Kalgoorlie, which is currently perceived as the most extravagant goldfield on the planet. Hannon's discovery caused to notice a mineral body that later got known as the Brilliant Mile. Hannon was brought into the world in County Clare, Ireland on the 26th of April 1840. He was an authentic gold fanatical, a victim from gold fever. In 1862 he worked underground at Ballarat. Between 1868 to 1880 he went to the New Zealand goldfields. In 1889 he was prospecting at Southern Cross and he joined the rush to Coolgardie when gold was found there. In June 1893 Paddy Hannon, Thomas Flanagan and Dan Shea travelled east from Coolgardie and found gold around cutting-edge Kalgoorlie. So rich were the stores that on the 17th of June Hannon got back to Coolgardie with 100 ounces of gold, 3.1 kilograms. Unfortunately, the ones who tracked down the Brilliant Mile didn't harvest incredible wealth. Tom Flanagan was generally wealthy when he passed on in Bendigo on 16 November 1899, leaving a bequest of £817 per. Dan Shea kicked the bucket in 1908, having kept on prospecting for new fields up to 1904, and Paddy Hannon, who turned into the strong image of Kalgoorlie, never got rich. Hannon has been enormously regarded. The Central Avenue of Kalgoorlie is named after him. One of the privately fermented brews was Hannon's Lager, and for some old excavators Kalgoorlie was constantly known as Hannon's Find or, all the more essentially, Hannon's. In 1904, at the age of 61, Hannon was allowed a benefits of £100 by the Western Australian government. It was expanded to £125 and by 1911 had ascended to £150. He resigned to Fallon Street, Brunswick, Victoria, where he lived with two female family members until his passing on the 4th of November 1925. He is covered in the Catholic segment of Melbourne General Graveyard. Kalgoorlie Town Hall. While visiting the Visitor Information Centre, it merits reviewing the Town Hall. Underlying 1908, it is a commonplace, fantastic Edwardian design. The council chambers higher up have immense tables and delightful calfskin seats. There are light fixtures, stepped metal roofs and an excellent clearing flight of stairs. It is asserted that Dame Nellie Melba acted in the Town Hall Theatre on various events. The first sculpture of Paddy Hannon is likewise housed in the structure. It is open non-weekend days from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Government Buildings Complex. Further up Hannon Street, and ruling the entire road, is the Government Buildings Complex, 204 Hannon Street, which was worked somewhere in the range of 1896 and 1899, at an expense of £22,000. At the point when fabricated it housed the Warden's Court, Court of Justice, Mines Department and Post and Telegraph Office. The structures are overwhelmed by a noteworthy clock which was officially begun by Warden Finnerty from Coolgardie in 1900. York Hotel. Situated over the street from the Government Buildings Complex, among Wilson and Cassidy Streets, this surprisingly elaborate inn was developed in 1900-1901 and formally opened on the 23rd of February 1901. The engineer, Daniel T. Edmonds, rehearsed in Kalgoorlie between 1899 to 1912 and was liable for the city markets, which are absurd. At the point when it was opened, the neighborhood paper recorded the inside in the accompanying shining terms. The eastern principal entrance carries the guest to an extravagant parlor lobby, from which rises the primary flight of stairs, prompting the private segment of the lodging. The flight of stairs is developed in a strikingly imaginative manner, with a solitary trip to the principal arrival, 2 side flights, or more that an extension. Over everything is an exceptionally attractive round vault which concedes a lot of light. In the enrichment of the inside, cash appears to have been extravagantly spent, and to honorable impact. Among the most remarkable highlights is the wide assortment of imaginative plan and magnificence of shading of the stepped metal roofs. Rich tinted and finely cut woodwork likewise calls for exceptional notice. In no piece of this lodging is there anything for basically pompous showcase. Royal Residence Hotel. Further up Hannan Street is one of the city's most notable inns, the Palace Hotel at 137 to 139 Hannan Street, the side of Hannan and Maritana Streets. In spite of the fact that it shows up moderately humble, it was inherent 1897 for the cosmic amount of £17,000. At that point, on the grounds that the town was inundated with gold cash, it was perceived as the most rich lodging outside of Perth. It was the main lodging around to have power, and it had its own water handling plant until the appearance of O'Connor's pipeline in 1903. The furniture came from Melbourne. Today its special highlights incorporate a mirror which was given by Herbert Hoover. He was the mine manager at Gwalia, who supposedly went gaga for a barmaid before he got back to the United States and in the long run turned into the 31st American president. Trade Hotel. Situated at 135 Hannan Street, the Exchange Hotel has, as of late, become a traveler magnet in light of the fact that, thinking back to the 1960s and 1970s, it has concluded that ladies working at the bar topless, known as skimpies, would pull in local people and sightseers. The inn was inherent 1900 and has been recorded by State Heritage, which has clarified its significance. The first structure on this site was a wood and iron development and, with the club, Cones Buildings, was one of the initial 2 lodgings around. The site has been home to the lodging from that point forward. The structure was worked for the Wilkie brothers, workers for hire for the Southern Cross Kalgoorlie rail route line. The agreement esteem was around £8,000. The beautiful themes and components that enhance the structure's exterior are drawn from an assortment of styles and give the structure its fancy appearance. The inn was saved from harm during the 1934 race riots when Bill Trifle assumed control over the permit from the licensee, whose unfamiliar name made him defenseless against attack. Kalgoorlie Miner and Old Western Argus. Situated at 117 to 119 Hannan Street, close to the Exchange Hotel, are the workplaces of the Kalgoorlie Miner and Old Western Argus, which was the initial 3-story working around. It was from here that the town's first day-by-day paper, the Kalgoorlie Miner, set up 1895 Monday to Saturday, was distributed. In its blast a long time between 1894 to 1906, Kalgoorlie had 12 unique papers, of which the Kalgoorlie Miner was the best. War Museum, Kalgoorlie Boulder. Perhaps the most particular structures on Hannan Street, it very well may be seen the whole length of the road, is the Ivanhoe headframe at the War Museum, which is situated at 17 Hannan Street. It is both a gallery and a survey stage, with the highest point of the Ivanhoe headframe being available by both lift and steps. It is an ideal method to find the historical backdrop of the eastern goldfields and especially Kalgoorlie Boulder. Among the lasting displays are the biggest assortment of gold bars and chunks in Western Australia, an itemized history of the miners who looked for the valuable minerals, and fascinating experiences into the existences of the groups of the diggers. The lasting shows incorporate a true miner's cottage, a botanic nursery, the workplaces of mining authorities, the primary West Australian bank, and curios produced using neighbourhood lumber. English Arms Hotel. The British Arms Hotel is close to, and just available through, the War Museum. It is supposedly the tightest inn in the Southern Hemisphere. Today it houses 3 exhibitions: Dr. Rout's dental surgery, the Union banner display cases with an assortment of noteworthy association pennants, and an Edwardian parlor with pruned plants and hefty goods. For the vast majority of its life, the British Arms was obviously situated to draw travellers landing from the Loop Line tramway which raced to and from Boulder, and excavators getting back home from dealing with the Golden Mile. Past Hannon Street. The famous brothel, Questa Casa. Questa Casa, in some cases known as the Pink House, is the last massage parlor from when there were more than 30 whorehouses working in Kalgoorlie Boulder. There is a day-by-day visit at 3 p.m. which keeps going 60 minutes, takes guests through the activities of the bordello and clarifies the notable beginnings of this lawful house of ill repute which has been working for more than 100 years. Hammond Park. An absolute difference in landscape is offered at the 2-hectare Hammond Park, a lavish green desert garden in the outback, which is situated between Hawkins, Lyle and Parsons Streets. It has a local bird and creature assortment with kangaroos, emus, peacocks and fish. There is a little Bavarian castle which supposedly is enlivened for certain 40,000 neighborhood gemstones, a tremendous band rotunda, a duck lake, kids jungle gym and cookout offices and a stand. It is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from April to August, with hours reached out to 7 p.m. from September to March. Kalgoorlie Bushland Park. This 200 hectares bushland park is situated in Nankyville Road in the suburb of Hannons. It is a fine illustration of recovery as, toward the finish of the 19th century, the majority of the eucalypt forest had been taken out to fuel the steam motors around there. Today it has more than 2,000 trees and bushes, and 4 kilometers of strolling follows a post and fine wildflower shows in season. Data on the plants is set apart along the path. Attractions in Boulder. Super Pit Lookout. The most famous fascination in the boulder space of Kalgoorlie Boulder is unmistakably signposted around 5 kilometers south of Kalgoorlie on the Goldfields Highway. It is a post over an immense opening in the ground which, when it is finished, will be 3.8 kilometers long, 1.35 kilometers wide and 500 meters down. It was initially known as the Golden Mile. It at that point turned into the Fimiston Open Pit and ultimately became referred to just as the Super Pit. The story is momentous. As clarified on the useful signage at the post, where Little Tasks had once controlled the well-known Golden Mile, WA financial specialist Alan Bond fired purchasing up the individual leases to make one major organization and one major pit, from which gold could be removed at undeniably less expense. Bond's organization neglected to finish the takeover, however. In 1989 the whole region was joined. Kalgoorlie Consolidated Gold Mines Pty Limited, KCMG, was shaped to deal with the resources and tasks of joint endeavour accomplices, Normandy Australia and Homestate Gold of Australia Limited. Interestingly, all leases and framework of the Golden Mile, Mount and Charlotte, and Mount Percy toward the north, had been united. Huge changes, the most since gold was first found in Kalgoorlie by Paddy Hannon in 1893, happened. There is an interesting noteworthy photo which shows how the Super Pit was once 22 separate gold mining organizations, all with their own shafts. Geoffrey Blaney in The Rush That Never Ended noticed, he, Alan Bond, had nearly sorted out the jigsaw of leases which were in discrete hands for almost a century. It was presently conceivable to work an immense and steadily plummeting super pit, in which enormous gear could detach the old underground activities and the unmined gold in the middle. The geology of the Golden Mile. One of the data sheets at the Super Pit Lookout clarifies, brilliant mile mineralization is portrayed by an extremely perplexing example of firmly separated blaming, shearing and serious breaking of rocks. Deposits have a few trademark directions, with somewhat unique mineralization styles. There are more than 800 metal deposits inside the Golden Mile dolerite over a space of 5 kilometers in strike and 2 kilometers in width, and to a profundity of more than 1 kilometer. Singular jackpots might be up to 1,800 meters in length, 1,200 meters in vertical degree and 10 meters wide. Most elevated gold evaluations are regularly connected with gold, silver, mercury, tellurides and variation minerals with high vanadium substance. The gold is mineralogically unpredictable and headstrong during handling. Loop Line Railway and Museum. In the past, the notable Loop Line train, a token of the public vehicle which was accessible to the early pioneers, took guests on an excursion which incorporated a nitty-gritty analysis and visits to the Chaffers Power Station and Super Pit Lookout. It quit working in 2004 as the KCGM Super Pit activities extended. Today the Railway Museum and Railway Station are situated at the intersection of Burt and Hamilton Streets, are open from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. consistently and offer gallery shows to guests. There is an arrangement to move the first Loop Line track. Notable walk in Boulder. Rock was reviewed in 1896 and announced a district in 1897. Burt Street is currently viewed by the National Estate as perhaps the main verifiable streetscapes in Western Australia, and the guest can just walk its length and appreciate its critical structures which incorporate the Hotel Metropole, 1900, Tattersalls Hotel at 61 Burt Street,
Moore's Emporium at 63 Burt Street, Brennan's at 79 to 83 Burt Street, the Town Hall, 1900, at 99 Burt Street, the Grand Hotel, 1897, with its unpredictable ironwork at 121 Burt Street, the Masonic Sanctuary at 132 to 134 Burt Street, the Mailing Station, 1903, the Albion Hotel, 1898, at 60 Burt Street, and the Chemist Shop, 1900, at 46 Burt Street.
The walk is in a real sense close to 2 squares between Brookman Street to Hamilton Street. Stone Town Hall and the Gotcha Curtain. The Boulder Town Hall in Burt Street was opened on the 23rd of June 1908. It includes a noticeable clock tower, created iron balustrades and squeezed tin roofs. It worked as a venue for a long time, and artists, including Dame Nellie Melba and Eileen Joyce, performed on its stage. Today its incredible fascination is an uncommon enduring stage shade, total with unique pulley framework, by Philip Gotcha, who was popular in his day for his rich drop drapes. He was supposedly paid £50 for the 6.25 meters by 8.45 meters drape, which was re-established in 1997 at an expense of $200,000. Gotcha's shades were utilized in auditoriums in London, Paris and New York. It tends to be seen on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. and on the third Sunday of the month, Boulder Market Days. Rock Fun Time 2-Up School. Need to take a stab in the solitary lawful 2-up school in Australia? The principles of the game are guilefully basic: 2 coins, ideally old pennies, are tossed noticeable all around. There are 3 potential results: 2 heads, 2 tails, a head and a tail. You bet on the result. It is played legitimately in a rural setting at Sheffield's Restaurant, which is situated at the back of the Recreation Hotel at the intersection of Burt and Lionel Streets. Hannon's North Tourist Mine. Found 7 kilometers north of Kalgoorlie, through the Goldfields Highway, this $25 million intelligent and instructive fascination features the past, present and fate of the mining business in Australia. It was opened in October 2001 as a component of Australia's centenary of federation. It consolidates a memorable gold mine and legacy area with intuitive exhibitions, a changing showcase of fine arts and explicitly planned nurseries. It remembers shows for miners, mineral revelations and the public authorities' part in mining close by the most recent innovative turns of events. On the legacy site, guests can visit the 1893 underground mine, watch a gold pour exhibition or take a stab at prospecting. The 7-hectare site shows an assortment of mining memorabilia, including notable headframes and various legacy structures. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Life is Often if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.